Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Lorna Slater has had a new wheeze. She's realised that people like coffee, and like anything, if people like it, it can be taxed. Now, she can't come out and straight away put a tax on a jar of Nescafe, so she's doing the next best thing. They're looking at the likes of Starbucks and Costa and the small local franchise that offers you coffee to go in a disposable cup, and they're saying that they're going to tax disposable cups because they're allegedly bad for the planet. And there's arguments that that's actually not the case, and they actually could be described as being beneficial for the planets, especially if they're all recycled. But the tax has to go through because, of course, they've spent all the money, they've got no money, they're in a desperate, dire need to raise money, and the only way they can raise it is to tax it. And so they look at things that they haven't previously taxed and say, let's tax that. I'm surprised we haven't got beard taxes and window taxes in the pipeline. That wouldn't surprise me, so I better not give them ideas. Anyway, we'll take a look at this other mad option that they're trying to push through because of their own desperate, bad mishandling of the economy. Here you go. So before we get into it, I will ask if those of you who are yet to subscribe, please do so. We're only just over 300 away from 10,000. I thought we could do it by the end of February. Do you know what? We could do it by the end of January. If all you good people, you regular viewers who are yet to subscribe, hit that button. There's about 60% of you now of regulars that don't subscribe. It would be a marvellous opportunity. We'll get to that 10,000 and it would just be a nice little threshold to breach, and I think we can do this, and we can keep pushing out the madness of plans like this. Basically, getting taxed on something you previously weren't taxed on because they need to tax just about everything. Single-use coffee cup charge set to be brought in next year under Scottish Government plans. Ministers will also give councils powers to impose on-the-spot fines and civil penalties to households who put things in the wrong rubbish and recycling bins. Interesting option. They would then have to prove it was the householder that put it in there. Just because it's in the bin doesn't mean the householder put it in. That would be an assumption. And so you can tell straight away that that would be an absolute non-starter. And as soon as the first case went to court, it would be thrown out. Literally thrown out. Unless they're actually videoing the householder putting that object in, there's no evidence that they did. Madness. This is the level these people are at. They think that they have these powers. They think they can do these things. And also, with the massive underfunding of the councils, who's going to go out and inspect it? You know, they don't have inspection officers. But utter lunacy. All the things breaking down, and they're talking about shit like this. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Anyway, getting back to this coffee plan story. Scots will face charges for single-use coffee cups by next year under new Scottish Government plans to slash waste. Well, here's the thing. Coffee cups are recyclable. They're 100% recyclable. So just save your coffee cup and put it into the recycle. It then gets used again. The other thing about coffee cups is they're made of cardboard made out of wood. Wood that is grown from new growth trees, the pine trees and things like that, which grow incredibly quickly and which, when cut down, are replaced. The thing is, a growing tree does far more good than an old tree in terms of sucking in toxins from the air, pumping out oxygen and things like that. It's actually a very good way of doing it. Technically, cutting down young trees and replanting them, letting them grow, is better for the environment than letting them grow until they're old trees and they slow down. There is this argument. And so if you're making things out of young recyclable wood, as it were, and then you even then are recycling the product made from it, that's actually technically better for the environment. It's a very weird position to be. Anyway, the sweeping proposals, get back to it, the sweeping proposals come despite stats showing the amount of waste Scots send to landfill has fallen by a third in the last decade. Yes, so they have this fact, oh, look, you know, rubbish is going down smaller, but that isn't taken into consideration because, of course, this has got nothing to do with reducing waste. It's got nothing to do with the environment. We all know what this has got to do with. Ka-ching. Literally first, last, and everything in between. It's money. They need the tax. It includes plans later this year to ban the destruction of unsold consumer goods, whatever that means. And it vows to give councils more tools to improve household recycling rates and prevent people from contaminating collections by placing items in the wrong bins. You've got 2 bins. What do you want? 8 bins? Do you know some houses just don't have the room for 8 bins? And do you want little terraces, the whole pavement taken up with people's bins? Is that what you're after? Because there's nowhere else to put them? Seems strange that that's what you do. You'd be actually making life dangerous if you're limiting access on pathways, for example. And yet that's what they're proposing, because these people are absolute lunatics who don't live in the real world. And as I say, there's no one there that's going to be able to police it. And they say, oh, well, look, if a bin man opens it, go, that's in the wrong bin. Well, that bin man has then got to prove that it was the householder who put that in and not the householder's neighbour or some passerby. Good luck with that. It's a failing law. I can see it, you can see it, everyone can see it. Why can't these people see it? Apart from the obvious reason, which is they are so damn stupid. Critics have previously hit out at Scottish Green Minister Lorna Slater's circular economy policies as vague and uncosted and mentally the worst thing that you could come up with. But that's what happens when you put an idiot in charge, isn't it? Now the government has set out dates for key measures in line with its planned circular economy bill. And there she is, a woman who literally does not have a clue about what she's doing. She comes up with what she thinks are great ideas, but the moment you look into them with more than a cursory glance, you realise lunacy therein lies. But she is a bit of a lunatic. The document said one policy would be a charge on single-use disposable cups in a bid to eradicate their use, dubbed the latte levy even, similar to the 2014 carrier bag charge. Yeah, okay, so you can put in this tax on these cups. Okay, put the tax on the cups. Good on you. What do people do? They'll pay it. Because nobody goes around, oh, I'm just wondering, I fancy a coffee. Oh, let me go in. Boom. Either that or people will stop buying coffee. And then what happens? Well, then what happens is some of these places will close down. People will be made unemployed. It's another for let sign on a high street. You've now got, instead of paying tax, are now on the dole collecting government money. And therefore, you're in an even worse, more parlous situation. But again, joined up thinking, a lack thereof, it seems. It said, if the bill is passed, we intend to use these new powers to introduce a charge on single-use disposable cups by 2025. A charge or ban on unnecessary product provides a strong incentive to choose reusable alternatives or to avoid certain products altogether. Removing choice, removing freedom, removing anything that they think might give people a bit of pleasure is basically where they're going with this. Officials also set out their reasoning for allowing councils more powers to impose penalties on people who routinely fail to use household recycling bins properly, saying 60% of current domestic waste could be recycled. Could it? Could it really? Don't think so. The consultation said it would enable local authorities to issue written warnings, and where those warnings are not heeded, civil penalties or fixed penalty notices to householders who place the wrong material in waste and recycling bins. But what they are not saying is that they have no way of policing it and no way of proving who put what in a bin. And at that point, the whole system falls down. Anyway, 4/5 of Scotland's carbon footprint comes from the products and services we manufacture, use and throw away. Around the world, 90% of nature loss and water stress are down to the extraction and processing of resources. Scotland has met a target to reduce all waste by 15% by 2025. However, the government acknowledged it's fallen short on a raft of other aims, such as a target of 70% of waste is recycled. Well, that's no use. If you start putting it in a place where everyone's using things to their fullest degree, you cannot have 70% of waste recycled, because literally the only things that are going in the waste will be things that aren't recyclable or usable over time, because your efficiencies of production will be increased. Again, not joined up thinking. Food waste, meanwhile, has actually increased since 2013, with 1 million tonnes of food thrown away in 2021. But you haven't asked how much the population has increased in the last 10 years. Look at that. They haven't given a percentage increase, so you can't judge whether it's a per capita gain or loss. It's pointless figures. Just quoting a number it's pointless. Circular Economy Minister Lorna Slater said, "We've already made good progress across Scotland." No, you haven't. Significantly reducing the amount of waste we generate and landfill. No, you haven't. You absolutely haven't. You haven't. It has reduced over time, but not through your policies. You haven't been there long enough to make any influence. And indeed, it's got worse under you because you don't know what you're doing. And it's just the usual bullshit by these people, isn't it? But it's all to do with tax. This coffee cup thing, nothing to do with saving the planet. Everything to do with money, and we all know it. Coming up. Now, what happens when you constantly tax things and artificially inflate the prices is fewer people can afford them, and therefore things become elitist. But I think that's part of the plan. They want the masses, us at the bottom, to just have what we are given and be glad of it. You have water, don't you? You have your minimum nutrient supplies piped through to your cell every morning, where you sit in your little ghettos watching what we tell you to watch, consuming the news we want you to know, and with your very limited education, just enough that you can perform the basic drudge tasks that the elite need to be done. That's what's being created. There's going to be an underclass, which will be the masses, our serfs, the plebeians. There'll be a small middle class who exist purely to be the ones, the functionaries, that coordinate all the needs and requirements for the elite. It'll be like the time machine, isn't it? We are the Morlocks, they are the Eloi. So perhaps we should start eating them. That will teach them the lessons they need to learn. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And remember, their whole plan is to price us out of everything so that only the rich can do and that we will provide. And it isn't right. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye. Oh, and enjoy your coffee, although I have tea.